The dragon chief's scales shimmered like molten copper under the three suns of Dracor Prime. He towered 15 feet above the metal floor of his throne chamber. Wings folded against his massive frame. For 300 cycles, Kazareth had ruled the merchant guilds of the Outer Rim, and in all that time, no being had dared approach him with such insignificance. The human girl couldn't have been more than 12 solar years old. She stood barely 5 feet tall, her brown hair tied back in a simple ponytail, wearing faded coveralls that had seen too many repair cycles. In her small hand, she clutched something, a tiny metal disc that caught the light. "You wish to trade?" Kazareth's voice rumbled like distant thunder, his four-chambered heart barely registering the presence of such a small creature. His advisors, scaled beings of various hues, shifted uncomfortably. Protocol demanded that merchants present themselves with proper tribute, rare minerals, ancient artifacts, or promising trade contracts. "Yes, sir," Susan said, her voice steady despite the obvious fear in her green eyes. She held out the disc. "I have 25 cents. A ripple of confusion passed through the chamber. Kazareth leaned forward, his enormous head descending to inspect the offering. It was a human coin, pre-diaspora Earth currency. Worthless. The metal wasn't even pure, some alloy of copper and nickel, barely worth the atomic weight. "You mock me, human child?" His nostrils flared, smoke curling from his snout. "No, sir." Susan's hand trembled, but she didn't lower it. "It's all I have. My brother, Evan, he's sick. The medical bay on our station won't treat him without credits. And our parents, they died in the mining accident last cycle. This quarter is the only thing I have left from Earth, from before we came here. It was my grandmother's. But Evan needs medicine more than I need a memory." Kazareth had dealt with desperate beings before. He'd seen merchants offer their ships, their freedom, even their lives for a chance at salvation. But never had someone offered something so worthless, with such dignity. "What is your request?" he asked, curiosity overtaking his irritation. "I need 1 vial of Regenerex 7, Susan said. "The medic said it would cure Evan's cellular degeneration, but it costs 10,000 credits. I know this coin isn't worth that much. I know it's not worth anything, really. But," her voice cracked slightly, "it's worth everything to me. And I'm hoping that might count for something." The chamber fell silent. Kazareth's advisors exchanged glances. Some looked amused. Others looked uncomfortable. The Dragon Chief himself felt something he hadn't experienced in decades. Surprise. Humans were strange creatures in the galactic community. They'd arrived late to the cosmic stage, their planet having been isolated until they'd developed crude faster than light travel only 60 years ago. They possessed no natural armor, no telepathy, no extended lifespans. They were physically weak compared to most spacefaring races, yet they were everywhere now. Working the refineries, crewing the freighters, fixing things with an ingenuity that baffled more advanced species. They had a saying, "Humanity, F. Yeah." A crude expression of their inexplicable resilience. "Do you know what Regenerex 7 is worth?" Kazareth asked softly. "Yes, sir. 10,000 credits. Do you know what your coin is worth?" Susan's jaw tightened. "In metal? Maybe 1/10 of a credit. But to me, it's the last piece of Earth I have. It's proof that my grandmother existed, that she held this and then gave it to my mother, who gave it to me. It's everything." Kazareth extended one massive claw. Susan placed the quarter in his palm. It was so small, he could barely feel it. He brought it close to his eye, studying it. On one side, a bird. On the other, the profile of a human male, and the words, "Liberty," and, "In God, we trust." "Your species is foolish," Kazareth said finally. "You attach meaning to meaningless things. You trade your treasures for the lives of others. You sacrifice the irreplaceable for the temporary. Susan's shoulders sagged. I understand. Thank you for your time. 7. I am not finished. The dragon chief's voice cracked like a whip. Your species is foolish. And that foolishness is why you will inherit the stars. He closed his claw around the quarter, then reached to his belt and removed a crystalline vial filled with golden liquid. Regenerex 7. Worth more than most humans would earn in a lifetime. My people understand value, Kazareth continued. We measure worth in credits and contracts. We are logical, efficient, superior in every measurable way to your kind. He pressed the vial into Susan's palm. Yet in 300 cycles, not one of my species has ever offered me something worthless and made me feel that I was receiving a treasure. Tears streamed down Susan's face. I don't understand. Neither do I, human child. Perhaps that is the point. Kazareth opened his claw, revealing the quarter. I will keep this coin, not for its metal, but as a reminder that value is not always measured in credits. That sometimes, the weakest beings make the strongest offers. That humanity's greatest strength is not in your weapons or your ships, but in your willingness to trade your souls for each other. Susan clutched the vial to her chest. Thank you. Thank you so much. Go save your brother, Evan, Kazareth rumbled. And when he asks how you obtained this medicine, tell him the truth. A dragon learned something about treasure from a human child. As Susan ran from the chamber, Kazareth's advisors erupted in protests about economic policy and precedent. But the dragon chief simply held up the quarter, watching it catch the light. 25 cents, worthless metal, priceless memory. Perhaps the humans understood value better than anyone realized. Perhaps that was why, despite their weakness, they would someday rule the stars.